Well, Solana's price has had an absolutely fantastic weekend, seeing growth of over 21% in the span of just one day, currently sitting right around a 15% gain. And now, of course, as a result of this, many people are speculating as to what is coming next for Solana. And so, of course, in today's video, we are going to talk about what I am expecting and how I'm going about it. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. So looking at Solana's price here, we can see that this support establishment that we saw on the 11th of September has still been effective. Of course, you all know I even thought that we were probably going to break to the downside of this, but I told you all Solana needs to establish support here. If it didn't establish support, we were probably coming all the way back down towards this $12.85 level, so we needed to watch extremely closely if it was capable of doing two things. Thing number one was establishing support on top of this key level of support here. The second thing it needed to do was to get back above its most recent point of resistance, which at the time was $20.64. I told you all, if it was able to do both of those things, it would probably be in position to come back up towards $25, and we can see that's almost exactly what it's doing so far. Now, what we can see here, of course, this key level of resistance was so important, that $20.64 level was so important, because this is the key level of liquidity in this area, right? You can even go back to see the support establishment here. You can see a ton of ranging on this level here. You can see the support establishment here, the resistance here, the resistance here, even the resistance there. Now, whenever you break a key level like this, typically some type of structure will form, and that's what we're seeing from Solana. Many people are going to say that this is a inverse head and shoulders, which I would agree that this is a very similar pattern, or some people would quite simply say this is just a bit of a cup and handle pattern, both of which do have similar breakout targets. If we're trying to find the breakout target on a structural formation of this nature, what you're going to do is take the distance from this key level of liquidity to your key level of support. You then take that distance and apply it on top of your key level of liquidity, and then that gives you your breakout target, or the level in which you would expect to see the price go. And at this given point, I would say that this has been a very successful and complete break to the upside here. I would say that this is a good point in which to say, okay, yeah, although we didn't get this high, right? We didn't get all the way to 24.65. We got up to about 24.25. And so at that given point, I would say, yeah, this is a full complete breakout to the upside. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that one, the probability of Solana's price just absolutely mooning and continue to break to the upside here is rather low, right? It's probably at a point in which, okay, it's reached its breakout target. We're likely going to start to pull back a little bit. Now, that does say that, yeah, the short term might not be as beautiful as this was, but it doesn't mean that, you know, the long term we can't see some more continuation. It's just likely that it's going to have to cool off pretty soon here. One thing I can use to kind of support that claim is what we are seeing on this 4-hour chart prime oscillator. You guys can see here that we did get that oversold reading as soon as we put in this high around $20.41, which is just an early indicator that, hey, we're probably going to start to slow down soon here. We then got the bearish momentum dot, we got a drive of bearish divergence, and then we also got another overbought reading starting to form now, but we have not, of course, got the OB printed just yet. All of these things, this little trifecta from, of course, your overbought reading, red reversal triangle, and bearish divergence here, all of these things say, okay, look, the price is probably going to start to pull back pretty soon here, so you need to kind of slow down a bit. So what I would say at this given point is to let Solana cool down and let it come back to retest this key level of liquidity between $22 and $20.64. As you guys can see, this was a key level of resistance, and so was this one. That's going to create a little bit of a range. Let's go ahead and get this little range drawn in here. This right here, okay? What I believe is that Solana is very likely to come back and backtest this key level of support, right? Whenever you have a key level of resistance here and you have a key level of resistance here and you break through both of them, they then flip into key levels of support and create this range, okay? So there's a very high likelihood that it comes back down to retest this range to try to establish some type of support, whether it's on 22, whether it's on 2064, I'm not quite sure. Of course, I can't predict the future, but it is likely that it comes back around this level. And then from there, we can really see, okay, are we going to be able to continue this move to the upside, Or are we going to start to lose some support and then get that final breakout to the downside? That is going to happen one day. We absolutely are going to break to the downside of this support one day, okay? So you never know when that's going to be. And so because of the fact that this is already overrun to the upside, and because of the fact that we are seeing this backtest starting already, I would say probably at this point, hold off a little bit. Don't make any huge purchases. I'm making some small purchases here and there, but nothing major until we can get a clear backtest here. See if we can establish some support, and then at that point I would be looking to accumulate a little bit more. The reason I would be looking to accumulate a little bit more is simply due to the fact that on this daily chart prime oscillator, we do have a little, it seems like we might have a little bit more room to run to the upside. Generally speaking, Solana does need a couple indications, right? It will get a couple on the way up before it does eventually pull back. And we've only gotten one bearish indication so far, which is the early printing of this overbought reading. We're not really fully extended to the upside just yet. We're not getting multiple indications. So to me, it's like, okay, it could continue up a little bit further, maybe even up towards that like $25, $26 level here before we do get that eventual pullback. Okay. And so because of that, although our time is running short, and I think that this move isn't going to last extremely long or go very high, I do believe there could be a little bit more room to the upside here. So I am making some small purchases here and there, especially if we do back test some support. I think one more move to the upside definitely could be on the way. So with all of that in mind, the whole point of this video is to say, don't get too caught up right now. Don't start getting off FOMO right now. I think that a pullback is very likely to happen. And of course, because of that, I'm looking for this back test of support. Once that back test does happen and we do successfully start rounding off back to the upside, establishing some support here, I will update you with another video of at what point we need to maybe start making some more purchases or doing things of that nature. So with that said, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. And of course, if you did, you can always let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.